It's always tricky to know how to open a book. The first lines are so important. The first chapter is so important. Not only do you have to hook the reader, you have to make certain promises. You have to set the pieces as quickly and as smoothly and as energetically as you can for the rest of the book to make sense. In What a Mortal Hand, I use a prologue, and there are a lot of people that don't like prologues. It was there for good reason. Often prologue is just a long world-building setting piece, but they don't have to be that. Prologue can serve a different purpose. I find prologues to be very useful in creating a hook to take us out of a central narrative out of the main narrative structure to show us an angle of the story we wouldn't otherwise get. Now, in What a Mortal Hand, the prologue, the book itself is a third-person limited narration, if that makes any sense to my non-writing friends, which means we are basically following a single character throughout the entire book, Michael Oswald. The first chapter, the first chapter introduces Michael, but the prologue doesn't have him in it at all. The prologue introduces the crime that he is investigating. The first chapter does a very good job of introducing the character and is in fact a secondary hook. It could have kept that as the primary start of the story. As a matter of fact, I thought about that for many weeks, whether or not I even needed the original prologue at all. The prologue stayed, however, because it does more than just a hook. The hook is good in the first chapter, but the prologue's hook is a different flavor. The prologue's hook is about the meta of the story. If you look at the prologue, it shows the crime, the loss of the truck that Michael Oswald, our hero, later investigates. It shows how it happened. It unfolds right in front of you, kind of like the first act of a Columbo. You see who did it. You kind of know what's happening before the detective's even on the case. So why would I do that? Particularly since I'm doing a mystery noir. Sort of a mystery noir. The first part definitely is that, fits closely into that. The second and third go differently, and that is why the prologue needs to stand the way it is. The prologue, the story of the trucker, is exposed, is shown right away. So in a way, the promise is this is not what is most important about the story. The story is about something else. And so as you're following Michael through the first section of the noir, through the second section of where it goes, and through the third section of his odyssey and his return home, you're kind of removed. You don't have to think about that part of it that much. In other words, the mystery's kind of solved before it even began, because that is not the mystery. It is a mystery that leads us into other mysteries, but it's not the mystery. Both the prologue and the first chapter hook us very well. The first chapter as a character piece, as an understanding, and as a hallucination, which we'll talk about next week. But the first one shows us the tenor, the flavor of the text, the stakes, and in a way sets us up for a long-standing, no, not in a way, it definitely does set us up for a different kind of mystery, a different kind of journey than we would get otherwise. I'm very proud of both of them. And the book works both ways, but I think the prologue is necessary for the rest of the book because it does remove that pressure and puts the pressure somewhere else on what the story's about. Anyway, they're both wonderful. The whole book's wonderful. Read the book. It's on sale still this entire week, month, all of October. Anyway, thanks for listening.